in ADNI, we came to realize that we had a problem here, and we decided to really take action to do something different so we could improve the generalizability of our results. It's not just a political correctness ambition here. It's fundamentally, if an observational study is largely composed of affluent white people, it's telling you something about the progression of Alzheimer's disease in affluent white people. It doesn't tell us about the progression of Alzheimer's disease in the general population of elders in the United States. And ultimately, we want to treat the general population, and we want to prevent the disease in the general population. So we have to understand how the disease progresses and develops in the general population. And to achieve that end, we have to have a sample which is more generalizable. Now, in an ideal world, we would use an epidemiologically sampled population, but it's extremely difficult to do intensive biomarker work on an epidemiologically sampled population. So we're trying to do what we consider to be the next best thing, which is to increase enrollment of underrepresented people, especially Blacks and Latinos, into ADNI. So 2 years ago, we established something called the Diversity Task Force. The Diversity Task Force is being led by Ozioma Okonkwo and Monica Rivera Mint. Ozioma is at the University of Wisconsin. Monica is at Fordham University. And they were provided a substantial budget to develop a diversity task force. And we had something like 11 or 12 pilot ADNI sites who were given additional funds. And we launched a social media and digital marketing campaign to identify Blacks and Latinos in the communities around these trial sites. And we've been very successful in enrolling Blacks and Latinos into these trial sites. We, I think, tripled the enrollment rate of Blacks and Latinos over the period of this campaign. And in fact, the campaign is still going on, and we're doing very well with enrollment in these trial sites. So about a year ago, armed with the data that we had from this trial, from this diversity task force, we wrote a competitive renewal to continue the Alzheimer's Disease Neuroimaging Initiative for another 5 or 6 years with a very large budget. And it's a very ambitious project because now we're proposing that for the next 5 years, we're going to enroll 50 or 60% of all of our new participants are going to come from the underrepresented populations, which will be largely Black and Latinx, but we'll also be recruiting from the Asian population, the Native American, Pacific Islander, and other underrepresented people. Nobody's going to be excluded, but in the United States, the primary underrepresented populations who have high risk for Alzheimer's disease are the African American and Latino or Latinx populations. So our plan, and it looks like we're going to be funded. We don't know for certain whether we're going to get our funding, but we got a pretty good score in review. And we think that it's highly likely that we'll be funded. And our new grant will begin in August. We will start enrolling patients hopefully this coming fall.